This conference will now be recorded.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. Okay. Start with roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here. Consent agenda, approval of the work session minutes, regular council meeting minutes, bills paid, and the ordinance and resolutions as discussed during the work session at the last meeting.
Mayor, I'd like to make a couple of comments, please. The consent agenda item A, I haven't looked at those minutes, so I'd like to have them to be put off.
So we could table 4A until the next meeting and then have it on the agenda for that.
And the other thing I was wondering, is there really a reason to take minutes of work sessions?
I don't know. That's a good question for our attorney.
Transparency, the meeting is open. Session discussing city business. And so I don't think minutes are required, especially if you haven't taken binding action. So it's really a judgment call for you guys. I don't think there's a legal need to do it, especially if you're kind of brainstorming and all of that. It's less of an official. So if you didn't want to take them,
And we do publish the agenda for the work session so
Correct.
people know if they want to be here.
Right.
Yeah, we could just scratch
Just
if
scratch.
you prefer that for it.
I don't think we need to take
Not that
minutes,
anything.
and then legal says we don't need to.
I was there. Not that anything that was said that couldn't be recorded. I just think as a practice, it may be a purpose.
Sure, there's no action. So did you have any other questions about it?
No, the other one I had, you already did.
So then we would approve consent agenda minus maybe 4B through I.
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda item excluding item A as presented.
Second. We have a motion from Councilman Mallott, a second from Councilman Shriver. Will the clerk please call roll? Yes.
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 Yes. Item 5, requests or comments from the public. There being none. Move on to item number 6, consider an interlocal agreement between the city and Wyandotte County Library Board in the Unified Government preserving appointments and voting rights under CR 0199 and authorizing continuation of the library tax levy through fiscal year 2026.
I can provide an update. So as you all know, you established a city library earlier this year. There's been ongoing discussions regarding the relationship to PET and to the Wyandotte County Library Board going forward. There are members of that board, or at least representatives representing members of that board of cities that are not subject to the tax, like Bonner Springs, Kansas, etc. We currently are in 2025. Our position has been upon establishing a city library that we have withdrawn from that. This agreement is kind of a good neighbor approach with PET to basically say, even though we've withdrawn, we are still wanting to work with them, especially since they're in the middle of setting the budget for next year, and it would agree to allow our city to be included within that taxing district for one additional fiscal year, 2026, and at the end of that, all parties would acknowledge that we're out, so to speak, the request is that this provide the framework for kind of an off-ramp period during 2026 to allow them more time to plan financially, but also for us to request for seed money from them. And so I think the request for a recommendation for a motion would be to approve this as an offer contingent upon finding some agreement of seed money funding for our library that would go along with this agreement. And that we would agree to be included in the taxing district once we have solidified that agreement, or they've made the funds.
We've withdrawn at this point.
Correct.
So you want to be back in.
I don't know if that's been a request of PET or of Gwinnett County Library Board or what, but it really is more in terms of just allowing for a transition period before county clerk gets noticed that we're no longer part of the tax district. And instead of just turning off that spigot, so to speak, revenues to library board, they're obviously going to be less incentivized to help us out if they immediately face a funding decrease. So we're just trying to carve out some time to get it.
Is that what, originally when we began this, originally that was going to end this year, correct?
Correct.
So we are being a good neighbor.
Yes, we're saying one more year, and we're going to be able to put in we're going to be provider services.
Right.
And so, just like Bonner, just like Kansas City Kids, who receive funds from a board that does not tax them, we would like to add and diversify the geographical library services in the county and providers who want to continue to participate on the board and make those decisions, because those decisions are connected, what they do and the grants that they give to Bonner to others is connected to how you will set your eventual mill levy that will include an added department of the city library. So hopefully the taxes go down on the pet side on our residents' tax bills, but then at some point there's going to need to be some revenues that may not be forfeits where it is that you pay for that out of your city budget, but in investing in that as a city and adding those funds, we want to be recognized as a provider too and have just as much legitimacy in coming to ask them to help provide library services in the county as Bonner and
And in the motion that in our background, it looks like it's not just entering into the interlocal agreement, but giving the city manager the ability to enter into it if they give us a reasonable amount of our startup request of the funding. So it's not, this isn't entering it, but it's asking that Mark and these have the ability to enter in.
Correct. And I've looked at this. I think it meets the spirit of that good neighbor approach. But if for some reason those discussions break down, worst case scenario is without. Best case, worst case. I think the intent is to just stretch out the time so that we can find it.
Right.
We're still paying the library mill for pet for 26.
That would be this agreement. But it would also provide some finality to it, so that everybody's on the same page.
Has there ever been a vote on the $1.2 million that was in question? Already made?
I don't know the status of this.
Still in effect.
just to clarify, Josh, if Mark Mathies goes to the board with this ability to enter into an interlocal agreement and they say we are not funding your request, he can say, okay, we're not entering into the interlocal agreement. Is that correct?
Yeah, depending on how the motion is phrased.
Well, there's a motion on the consent, proposed motion language. And if
So,
they,
to the level of startup funds, consent discretion, decide.
Threshold.
It's a good faith kind of letter.
is there anything, any chances of retaliation or like lawsuit or anything about?
It's happened before. I mean, it's my opinion.
Well, that still doesn't take it out.
But I think it carves out space there. I think we've got.
But you like this, obviously, you probably wrote this.
Well, it's your policy decision. I'm trying to accomplish.
I'm trying to wrap my head around what it really is, because maybe I'm just. We've opted out of something, but now we want to opt back in until another.
Well, it's the equivalent of like a major part of your taxes. All after the same.
Which will be 27.
27, but they have a budget. They thought they were going to be certain type of popping up minor.
It seemed like we should have done this first.
That's theoretical, and you have established a city library. Might establish a city library. So you don't really trigger broad elements.
A little closer, we're kind of circling.
All right, with that, I make a motion, City Council approve the interlocal agreement with the Wyandotte County Library Board to extend participation through the 2026 fiscal year with taxation within Edwardsville ending December 31st, 2026, contingent upon the board allocating an acceptable level of startup funding for the Edwardsville City Library. The city manager is authorized to execute the agreement upon confirmation that this condition has been met and to make any necessary technical adjustments consistent with the terms presented.
Second. A motion from Councilman Shriver, second from Councilman Adcox. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Very good. Item number 7, consider adoption of resolution 2025-21, authorizing a waiver of the generally accepted accounting principles gap for the preparation of the city's financial statements for the upcoming fiscal year. Mr. Gerber, I believe you probably have this one. This is familiar. I believe we do this every year.
Yeah, and I think I would have the next couple, Mayor, but good evening, governing body. This, as the mayor stated, this is a pretty routine action. Happens every year. State law requires that you prepare your audits according to GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. State law also allows you to opt out of those requirements, which we do typically. It makes the audit a little less expensive. You don't have to do sort of an inventory of your assets and depreciate and itemize your assets like streets and things, which can be somewhat complicated for cities. So most cities across the state do choose to opt out of this particular state statute. So we're recommending the same. Be glad to answer any questions.
There are no questions. Chair motion to adopt resolution 2025-21.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-21, a resolution authorizing the waiver of the general accepted accounting principles, GAP, for the preparation of the city's financial statements for the upcoming fiscal year.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Adcox, a second from Councilman Mullen. Will the clerk please call roll?
Yes.
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 Item number 8, consider authorizing the pre-order acquisition of fire department apparatus and authorizing the city manager to execute necessary documentation related to the acquisition.
Governing body, good evening again. Chief Whittem is here to answer questions, but just by way of a brief overview, we are asking for authorization to begin purchase of a pumper truck. This truck does fit into our replacement schedule. The truck that it is replacing has given us consistent concerns, I think, since delivery, Chief. The reason we are asking for this to happen now is at the end of October, there's a potential price increase of about 4.5%. So if we can lock in this price now, we won't see the fire truck for probably 2 or 3 years, sort of 3 probably. But we are locking in the price, and we won't pay anything. It's sort of like buy now, pay later, except less of a scam. And so, yeah, there's a brief overview. And again, Chief Whittem is glad to answer any questions.
Evening, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, council, as Mr. Girl was kind of highlighted, we're looking to request to replace a 2014 fire apparatus. In the last 7 years, fire apparatus prices have gone up 300%. What used to be a 1-2 kilogram to now 3 to 5 kilogram. To give you an example, we bought that truck in 2015, $355,000. Replacement was the lowest end when we sent out the bid, just a little over $1 billion. The average price tag for the fire apparatus in the United States right now that meets our needs is about $1.3 billion. Based upon where we're at, process of our replacement window, we're not speeding up the replacement window. We're actually almost a year behind our replacement window. That apparatus replaced every 12 years. Will be 12 years old once we get that one somewhere in manufacturing. But what we are asking is to go ahead and lock in the price tag now for a 4.5% increase this year. Potentially another 8% next year. Volatile prices in the stock market are going to go price tag of apparatus up extremely high. Looked at the presentation in the item memo, the KME price tag is
went out to the specifications, to the specifications of the HGAC that used to be also consortium, that is the mass production, mass producing contractual supply chain. Pretty much exactly the word I'm looking for is a sourcing buying process that reduces the need for us to consistently go out and bid process. Send our specification out, and the lowest and best bid come back from Banner Fire Apparatus, which manufactures E1 at $1,071,394. Sit there and consider that also put that specification out. Besides the fact that we're bidding on a 780 gallon, 1500 GPM pump on a 450 horsepower engine, which is just a manufacturing main, the Banner maintenance, 7-year maintenance package, no cost to the departments. That includes our annual maintenance of the apparatus every year for the first 7 years, in addition to the routine 5-year warranty on the drivetrain and pump, and 10-year warranties for defects in the body of the paint provided for the apparatus. This price is only valid until October 31st, 2025, when the 4.5% increase goes into effect. As Mr. Gerber explained, we are only making the authorization for the city manager to enter into the purchase. We have no funding that is required to take delivery of the truck. That is a 36 to 37 month build time, which time we'll have to pay $90,000, 90%, which is roughly $964,000 at the time of delivery from the apparatus manufacturing plant in Roxanna, Florida, and the additional 10% add-on the remaining 10% will be due after the finalization of everything, and we take the specific delivery of it. We are simply asking for the permission for the city council to authorize the city manager to enter into a pre-order contract to lock this bid price down. Now, we are due diligence to try to find the lowest and best bid that we can without raising the price.
Ready to go, key, turnkey, ready to go when you did it. Do they have to have
Once it
stuff?
comes out of Oklahoma, yes. A few things we will have added in Oklahoma are the radios and headcom systems. Most of that is now done at the fire apparatus dealer's shop. Once it gets up here, we have a couple weeks of training sessions for the crews. Done something very similar with the units. We've got computers right now.
Starting to have some maintenance issues on some of the equipment that you have.
This is the truck that caught on fire 90 days after we took delivery of it from the firehouse and had to be completely rewired. And it's got a nickname of Christine. It's a Stephen King novel.
At the Plymouth.
For the last 9 years. So yes, this truck spent more time in the shop than it does.
Been noticing that through the bills.
Make a motion to authorize the pre-order acquisition of the fire department apparatus and authorizing the city manager to execute necessary documentation related to the acquisition.
I second.
I just wanted to make a few comments. Sorry. I trust your judgment, your expertise, your knowledge of all of this. I don't know if I've asked this before. What truck will we be getting rid of?
This will be the small red fire truck.
And what happens with that?
So,
Any
in the
trade-in?
past, we put them up to Purple Wave. We got $25,000 out of the last time. This is the truck that we rented in Johnson County Community College. They pay for it a year. They're committed to purchase that truck for $100,000. Process of their budget process. We've already started that issue. They understand in 3 years that we have that budget. So we're going to get $35,000 maybe out of Purple Wave fire truck. They're going to sell it for $150,000. Not realizing what they have. We have a school right across the river.
Thank you for taking care of that. That's
That's
amazing.
That's
and they get all the equipment on it as well.
Thing.
They get all the equipment on it as well.
No. So it will not have all the fire hoses and everything else. Replace that grant that's coming through in about
Nice.
4 months.
I wondered.
We
Good.
don't have as much upgrade with that. The school has their own go with just the ladders, the fire. Make that transition.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
We have a motion from Councilman Adcox, a second from Councilman Mullen. Will the clerk please call roll?
Yes.
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 Thank you, Chief. Item 9, consider awarding a street construction bid to F.V. Anderson for project EDV 2024-4, a complete street reconstruction project on Richland Avenue and the resurfacing of 106th Street.
Thank you. The city opened bids on October 16th for this projects. And as noted, it is essentially a complete reconstruction of Richland. And then there's basically what I would call mill and overlay on 106th South down to Shawnee Street. We did receive 6 bids on the projects. All of the bids were higher than the engineer's estimate, but the apparent low bid was within 1.5% of the engineer's estimate, which is a reasonable amount. So we recommend that you move forward with B.F. Anderson Builders in the amount of $1,946,220.40. I will note that in the recommendation in the memo, the engineer's number is given, not the actual bid price. So when you make the motion, you'll want to use that B.F. Anderson number.
1946.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve. 1920.
We have a motion from Councilman Malat, a second from Councilman Adcox. Will the clerk please call roll?
Yes.
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 Item number 10, adopt resolution. Sorry, I cut partway up, I think. Nope. Consider resolution 2025-19 designated an earned interest reserve account within the general fund.
Governing body, very simply put, this resolution establishes an internal general fund sub-account, and we're calling that the Earned Interest Income Reserve. The resolution also outlines the parameters for reporting that earned interest income that the city manager will provide to the governing body on a quarterly basis. The intent of this resolution is to abide by the motion that was made during the budget process and discussed at the last council meeting regarding earned interest income. Glad to stand for any questions.
Where does the earned interest come from? Coming from funds, general fund. Where that's coming from, there's been an issue with that.
Earned interest comes from the funds that the city has invested in our various accounts. At this time, we actually have 2 different sort of investment accounts. One is here locally, and then one is invested in Bonner Springs because they were willing to give us a higher rate, just to be frank about it. And so the money from the idle funds in those accounts earns interest. As you know, a couple years or year and a half ago, we became very targeted about trying to increase our interest income. 2024, it was 25 or $26,000. In the 2025 budget, we have it at 300,000. Same with the 2026 budget. So we've been intentional about that. And one of the ways to do that was to set aside some of those funds that we don't need for daily operating expenses and invest them. So that's where it comes from. That's a long answer.
So it's new. It's not, we've not had it before. That's why we've never had to deal with it.
We've always earned interest, but I think it's fair to say that there wasn't an intentionality about it, actually trying to invest it and
Right.
earn a higher rate. Yes.
Is that what we're trying to invest in and get a higher rate?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I first came here, the rate was less than 1%. And now we're at a variable rate, so it does fluctuate, but it's right around 3.5 or 4%.
where does it land in general fund?
Some of it lands in bond funds, which, not to elaborate too much, but we have to be very careful about what's called arbitrage. In that we earn more from the interest on those funds than we do pay out the bondholders. Simple way to explain it. We're well aware of that and follow it.
How can it be, how can it be spent? By requests from department?
So what this does is it takes some of those interest funds and sets them, excuse me, puts them in basically a sub fund. And those monies can only be spent by governing body approval. It's like the entire budget.
As requested by.
As requested specifically by the governing body.
But basically, it's not getting into the city manager and department heads spending authority. The limits on what they can, like whatever your spending limit is, before you have to have council approval. Or anything involved in it. I don't know what I'm trying to ask this is, you have certain spending authority that you can do without council approval. It's not going to affect that.
This resolution doesn't, those are totally separate processes.
Make the motion to adopt resolution number 2025-19, a resolution designating an earned interest reserve account within the general fund.
Second.
Motion from Councilman Adcox, a second from Councilman Mullen. Will the clerk please call roll?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, on to item 11, staff presentation on the third quarter financial report.
Anybody, I'll be brief about this. There's only 3 or 4 slides. Just a reminder as to why we started doing these quarterly budget updates are part of best financial practices. So we want to implement those. If you look at these numbers, you can see on the left-hand side is the general fund revenue budget versus actual. And then on the right-hand side is general fund expenses budget versus actual. And you can see that on the revenue, we are, so this was done every time you do a financial report, it's a point in time, right? So this was done approximately at the end of the third quarter. And you can see that revenues are well above 75%. So 3 quarters in, you should be 75% of the way. Revenues are well above 75%, and expenditures are targeting right about 75%. So, of course, one of the things we'll have to keep an eye on as we are in this last quarter is making sure that our expenditures stay below that 100% level, and then revenues go above 100% that level. So, again, this is just a snapshot of where all of the departments are at the end of the third quarter. I would not, there's nothing in particular that I'd point out with this slide except to say all departments are on target right now. The only department that is basically below the 75% level is parks. And that's partly because we operated without a parks employee for several months this year. So that contributed to that. And as you look at the 5 major general fund revenues, plus I added a 6th category that I haven't done before for interest, you can see that property tax, we're above where we wanted to be. Sales tax is trending about where it needs to be. Use tax is trending very well. And just as a reminder, that's the tax that if you buy something somewhere else but you live here, we get a piece of that tax. Franchise fees are well on target. Court fines are in the 90% range, and then interest at the end of the third quarter, we had budgeted 300,000. We have 236. So again, also very much on target. In terms of what's next, we have the budget adopted. We have that authority, and now we enter that budget into our financial system so that we can start 26 ready to go. And then, as I noted, we want to make sure we manage the last quarter revenues. So as always, there's about 60 seconds on 3 months. Glad to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 12, we'll consider a motion to recess into executive session pursuant to KSA 754319B2 for the purpose of consultation with the city's attorney and special legal counsel, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationships, specifically regarding current litigation and related topics protected under attorney-client privilege. We'll need about 15 minutes, so that would be turning at 6:55. Need a motion in a second.
Make a motion to move to executive session, returning at 6:55.
A motion from Councilman Shriver, second from Councilman Adcox. Will the clerk please call roll?
Did I need to add what it was for? Yes. As,
Josh Nye, City Attorney Brandon Meisner, sorry, City Special Litigation.
boy, as stated.
Sorry. Let's get this right.
So I'd recommend a motion to recess into executive session for the purpose of consultation with the city's attorney and special legal counsel. That would be City Attorney Josh Nye, Special Legal Counsel Brandon Meisner, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, specifically regarding current litigation-related topics protected under that privilege.
Which includes city attorney. Said all that. So stated. Second.
To return at
6:55.
A motion from Councilman Shriver, second from Councilman Adcox. Will the clerk please call roll?
Yes.
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 This conference will now be recorded.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Malat, a second from Councilman Shriver. Will the clerk please call roll?
Yes.
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 Any comments from the city manager, assistant city manager?
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Councilman Mullen,
No comments.
Councilman Everhart? No comments. Councilman Malat?
Yeah, I do, of course, but it would take that kickoff. We lost a longtime resident that was really beneficial to our community in Leo Mills that lived at Schwartz Road, 106th Street, Kathleen. We're gonna dearly miss him. He was a super gentleman, former council member, and one of the old timers from Edwardsville. So I just wanted to make sure that his name was mentioned. And other than that, Chief, your diligence on your shopping amazes me. I don't know how you do that. You do it. Keep it up. Haven't got any choice, have you? So, but anyway, I don't think it does not go unnoticed the way you shop, the way you budget for your department, our department, our computer department, and the equipment that we need here. So thank you so much for your dedicated service.
Councilman Schreiber?
I will second that, Chief. Thank you so much. You've done that every year you've been here. Your expertise, your, and it's probably not a good word, your thriftiness. I don't know if that's working with the colleges and everything you do. Thank you so much, all your efforts. Mr. Gerber, thank you so much for the budget. As usual, that's not a, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said a 3 month bunch of numbers in 60 seconds or so. But thank you for that. I'd like to thank everybody that was involved with the Spooky Express. Lots and lots of great comments. I know that a lot of work goes into that, but kind of a crummy day, but made a lot of kids happy, a lot of people happy. Thank you, all the staff, everybody that was involved with that. And don't forget bulky item pickup Saturday. And I think that's all I have. Excuse me? Oh, Friday at 5 o'clock, hot dogs. Yes. A lot more candy. That's it. Sorry.
Councilman Adcox? No comment. Okay. Quick reminder, this Wednesday is the Edwardsville Historical Society, last one for the year. If you know any families in need, Edwardsville Mobile Pantry signups are open. Thank you for staff and everyone who participated in Spooky Express. And then I had that on my notes to remind of the Halloween cookout from 4 to 7 p.m. down here Friday night. That's a neat event to start off the trick-or-treating for the kids. So thanks for doing that. We'll see you guys there. Have a great week.